Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are getting back to our stream of Cultist Simulator using the Season of Acquaintances mod, plus a couple other things. So I'll just show off what mods we have installed here. We do have Gerby, we have Achieve Integrations, we have some longer card animations, which you've probably noticed. The Roost Machine, shelves to organize things, hints for the vaults, and more animated cards, book hints, some readables from Book of Hours, which adds the books from Book of Hours into this game. Translate experience, which makes our translating go faster the more we do it. Some more rights, faster expedition success, so we don't have that 1 minute wait on the last cycle. If we find the Heb Stanton, we get our lore as well. We get our regular destination and the Hebi as well. Season of Acquaintances, which is our main mod, which adds the whole changeover of things. Compact commissions and commissions on the hours themselves, as well as Zardas's extra stuff here. So, and a couple more things just to add some more fun to the game and make it a little more user-friendly. So let's dive back in. I've done a bit of cleanup on my table here just so we have a little more room to put stuff. We have our paintings and our stuff that we haven't used, our pigments that we haven't used just yet over here. Our tools are here, languages are down here, and you might have been wondering what this section is. So this is our area where we could subvert our lores into the older principles. So once our study verb frees up, I'll be attempting to show what that is. So we're currently working at Glover and Glover. And we could attempt to rise to the board of directors, but we don't want to do that just yet because we are generating notoriety right now and we don't want to have that impact our job. We have a season of sickness coming, so we're reading some sentimental literature to get a glimmering. And we'll use our health to get some vitality because we know we're going to need it because of... Oh, we have some vitality, actually. It never hurts to have more. Just now, I am one of the Suppression Bureau's most infamous suspects, perhaps the most infamous, in fact. They will resort to more aggressive measures in order to thwart my work. With infamy on the table, the Bureau can perform new investigative actions. And she is attempting to convert clues to evidence. So she's going to produce some tentative evidence, which we can easily dispose of. So they're questioning Dr. Eben, one of our patrons. The Suppression Bureau will approach an influential someone regarding their involvement with me. Patron status will keep them from being pressed too hard for information, but they may balk at interacting with me for a time afterwards. Okay, so we have an affliction, which we'll cure with vitality. All I need now is time. When I close my eyes, figures march behind my eyelids. When I open them, the light hurts. But we have 3 more funds to add to our display. And let's see, so we could go out guiding around the city while we wait, because we do have 90 seconds. However, I think that it's probably best we continue working at Glover and Glover for now. Build up our money pile. Rumor squats on rooftops and flutters in gutters. This hunter is making progress in their investigation. So there's a vitality to replace the one we used. And so let's take a look at... see if we can subvert some of this just to make another thing. So if I have 2 lore fragments of the same level and aspect, I can study them together to improve my understanding, which we already know. However, I can use another type of lore to try and subvert it. So if I put in... I can study the lore which opens. There are incantations of unseeming, so this would not subvert anything. So let's actually try with the other thing because we want to try and make something new. Subvert the lore which burns. So if we use Forge and Edge together, it makes Edge lore instead of Forge. If we use Forge and Heart together, nothing happens. If we use Edge And forge, we create edge lore. We use edge and heart. So this will create scale lore instead of edge or heart. Strength without conviction can break. Conviction without strength withers. This will create scale lore instead of edge or heart. Interesting. So we need a intuition, which needs glimmerings, and practical experience, which needs health. So we'll make some scale lore just to see what it does. And while we are thinking about it, okay, so the first necessary elements of a case against me are in play. I am not yet in danger of trial, but I must be careful not to give this hunter more clues to follow. So we have some tentative evidence in play against us. A hunter has found some evidence, real or imagined, of my sins. Hunters with evidence of occult activities become more dangerous. Evidence may survive the death of the hunter who created it. But we do have a few other things. Like we have down here, we have the Hidden Sanctuary. We have the Old Village Theater, we have the Occult Library, and we have the Forgotten Cemetery. We have enough money right now. We can spruce up the cemetery just a bit. So let's do that. Rebuild the chapel. It would be a crime to let these tomes rot. So we'll do that. We'll rebuild the chapel there, which will give us an advantage later. And we can always go for a walk in the graveyard to gather dread if we need it. So we need a glimmering. Or to use a sanctuary. Which we do have a sanctuary now, so we could have saved that glimmering, but we'll use it for now, because we have it. Aha! There it is. Is that it? You have resolved an intuition challenge. Risk your health, or use a prisoner. This is a puzzle with missing pieces. I might find those pieces in odd corners of scholarship. So by restoring ourselves, we get another vitality anyway. Aha, there it is. Is that it? I've resolved a practical challenge. Subverting heart, edge, and heart to scale. I am deepening my understanding of scale by subverting edge and heart. Alright, so we are done with our shift at Glover and Glover, and now we are going to attempt to paint. Because we finally have the forge ingredient, bitter black salts. So we put all of our passion in, and then we need something forged to... So we'll paint a picture of Roya. Something to remember them by, perhaps. Because we need some forge influence. And I sustained an injury from my experimentation, but luckily I have plenty of vitality to help with that. Now I understand. I've increased the mastery of the lore of the stone, which we call by its aspect scale. Scale lore 4th order fragment. So we have 4 scale, in case we ever want to do anything, try anything with that. And we'll go ahead and resolve our injury, because we have that vitality to use. So we can use our bitter black salts now to spend our money on better paints, or perhaps I can find more exotic pigments. So bitter black salts. No ordinary chemist could produce these dark gleaming crystals, not without the touch of the forge. The evenings here are always chilly, and I'm not keen to stay here after dark. The collection is very damaged and contains horrific details from several histories. I also feel an odd presence that sometimes walks outside, but I never see anyone else. So this has a pit, a lightless well of solitude where I may experience grim insights. We also have the library. Each visit requires a fee if I don't have a permanent membership. Spintria are the currency of the hidden world. Some Spintria are worth more than others, but don't expect to get change. This is not a grocery. So we need something with at least 2, so we'll try giving him an iron Spintria. Usual fee can be waived if I provide a substantial pay up front. So giving him a Spintria gives us membership in the library. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers me. It's over for now. And she's back at it, but luckily I've generated no notoriety, so she won't be able to do anything. The arrangement is made. So this counts as a library for me now. And now let's take a look at this odd village theater. So, pay to buy a ticket. Small religious theater just outside of the capital. For some reason, I'm drawn there again and again. I'm not quite sure what all is going to be going on there, but let's check at the bookies. So we can give some funds, and we can attend an illegal fight. No matter the locale, the fight is always downstairs. A din of violent flesh and raucous yelling emanates from below, but a burly, flat-faced man prohibits my approach. He holds out his hand, palm up. If I want to watch, I'll have to pay. So let's find out what we get from that. So we get to draw from a deck, from a deck. Something unique. I've made something unique, something extraordinary. Something I will never dare to exhibit publicly. This cannot possibly ever see daylight. It will earn no funds. It will make me some notoriety, which she can work with, though. But I have contentment, some glimmerings, a trembling heat, a possibility of sparks, a sixth-order influence. The signs are unmistakable, can be used in some rites to summon minions, and I've painted the Forge of Days. If the Forge could regret, it would regret the intercalate, but in all its other work, it knows joy. So we now have a painting with 8 Forge on it, so we can now use that to put all of our people up to disciple level. And just in time, because we can go back to work at Glover and Glover, just keep working on our money. So let's start by exalting our people that we can, by putting everybody to disciple that we can. So we have Klaus, we'll promote him. And then we'll get this Marjorie, a terse, flinty secretary at Capitol Courthouse. Miss Hawks is a stickler in every sense of the word. She prefers pen and ink over typist tools. So we have our health back. So let's see, do we have any influences we could use here? No, we don't. But we can hold it for a minute while we wait for our job to get done. She's grabbing the evidence to upgrade it, because she is meticulous. That night, I saw a man endure a spectacular amount of pain. His opponent had struck him so many times his eye was swollen shut, and the teeth in his mouth had decreased in number. And with his bloody mouth he smiled. That man did not go down that night. So that got us some contentment and a trembling airs. The toes tap, all is brisk and well. So let's see, can we use that? Nope, we can't. Exact influence intensity or... So we'll hold that until our work verb is free. Just to keep it from decaying. We need to see about getting us another raw profit so we can try and get rid of that evidence. This hunter is elaborating upon what evidence they already have with new intelligence. I am destroyed, I am remade. Now I sear my skin, and by these marks shall I be known. I pledge myself to the flame, and I shall not flinch from any remaking. Klaus poses questions in much the same way a scalpel is posed unto and into flesh. So he's scholarly, he can create rational observations, which he's doing right now. So next, we add that. And we add Ephraim. When I close my eyes, figures march behind my eyelids. So let's see, what can we do? We have the sunset rite we can use. So we can offer a trembling heat. We add knock. We can add Conrad. So we add Grail to conduct a seductive savage power, Lantern to contact an incandescent power, and Winter to contact something smoky. So let's come down to our lore over here. So we have, if we put in Grail, we get a mighty creature of the red Grail. I need a great power of Grail, a significant power of Knock, add some Forge. That must be for Azim, the second Thirstly. So can't quite do that yet. So let's try, if we do Winter, we can summon a creature of the Forge of Days. We need a significant power Forge as well as a little Winter and Knock. So we need more Forge power than that. And so let's try adding Lantern. That gets us a mighty creature of the Forge of Days. I need a great power Forge, significant power of Knock, and some Lantern. Thing of Fire and Glory. That must be King Crucible. Well, we can't use that. Let's see if we can do anything with this heart. So we add Edge. Summon a Percussagant. We add Winter. We can summon a Voiceless Dead. The power of Winter, along with a little of the heart's warmth, will draw them here. Let's see what we can get from that. I don't think I've ever used the Voiceless Dead, but we'll see what we can get from one of those. And there we have a Rational Observation. Can be used to solve knowledge or illumination research challenges. So let's see, we have these two Moldy Warps, so let's try and upgrade those to the next level. So those need Glimmerings, or we have a Sanctuary, and we have a Library, so we'll do both of those. When breath is black at the glass, when mist tautens the skin, when woods walk in winter, we hear these words. Wisdom is a country, and these are its maps. More evidence has been brought to bear on my case. I am ever closer to the danger of a trial. And the Bureau's trials are not known for their equity. A hunter has made worryingly comprehensive accounting of my sins. So I need a Glimmering, and I have a Sanctuary in the Hidden Sanctuary there. Then we'll need our library. Ephraim hobbles in public, coughing like a man of his age ought to, but there's a disingenuity to the way he walks, laughs, and even blinks. We'll promote the other winter person we have. Now I understand. Veiled movements. My followers has capitalized on preparations they've made to conceal their deeds. A dark shape limned with winter light. It will not speak, but its eyes are avid, looking. The dead always long for the world, eventually. Voiceless dead. Sometimes the dead enter the mansis by the white door. At its threshold they lay down their power of speech forever. Call them back to the world, and they will have no voice, but their skins of dust are yours to command. Lamp of Loss. I could offer it my passion. I'm not going to do that, but I could. But that gives us the perfect opportunity because the Voiceless Dead has 6 moth, so we can use that to get rid of that evidence. As soon as our talk verb is free. But for now, we'll send him out exploring. And see what he can find. If he finds a street strange by moonlight, so much the better. Alright, so we've trained those moldy warps into a centipede testament. The centipede came up out of the sands and went in under the roots. She found a new home, but now she can't go home. She creeps in everywhere else, keyholes and histories, and the channels of birth and sight and hearing. Here's what she has to say. Requires obsessive research. This demands more attention than is safe. Need an HQ with a library, never know, or a reason. There's a very small risk your reason might be permanently damaged. It also needs intuition, so a sanctuary and a library. But we have a significant power of moth now. So the next thing we'll do, we want to upgrade our heart lore. So this we have the sanctuary. So that's easy enough. And now that we're starting to get believers, it's going to be a lot easier for us to actually go on expeditions. Something in this patron's circumstances has changed. Perhaps the malignance of my reputation is subsiding. They reopen relations with me by way of a cordial letter. So let's get everything organized here. So we need, next thing we need to do is we need to promote Sister Josephine to disciple status so she can finish up that business we got from Beak. So I need an eccentric notions, a glimmering, or a sanctuary. I'll use a glimmering since I have one. And I haven't generated any notoriety, so she won't be able to do anything about that. The evidence will continue to be what it is. A hireling. I found someone. A shifty woman. I get the job done. No, well, 3 moth, no, you're not going to. So we've upgraded our heart lore. We don't have any other multiples right now. So we will continue to... So now what we'll do is we'll upgrade our skill to the highest level by reading our collections of poetry. And then we'll send... Well, we need to promote Sister Miriam. Sister Josephine, rather. To finish up that enterprise, because it needs 15 knock. Alright, so let's get this underway. Send Conrad to help. Better not. I must be careful of the company I keep. We'll hold that here to stop it from decaying for the moment. Alright, so our enterprise is off to a start. We're starting a smuggling operation. So we'll hold our Voiceless Dead again here. Just to keep its timer from decaying, and we'll start working at Glover and Glover once more. So we'll send Elizabeth, so we have plenty of knock power. And then as soon as Sister Josephine is done, we can send her for the next iteration. Glimpses. Sister Josephine. Josephine is given to song, to visions, to fits of weeping. She must wear bandages where her faith became especially demanding, and sit long in the warm waters when she has finished. So now we can send our voiceless dead to deal with this evidence. Send a devious minion to destroy evidence. My scheme will most likely succeed. There's always a chance that something could go awry. So we've generated a dread. And a fascination popped out. But luckily that's easy enough to deal with. I wonder what happens if we go to the sanctuary here. We can light something. We can meditate. The place has the habit of enforcing silence, both literal and metaphysical, so let's find out what that does. Probably produces contentment, but I'm not sure. Yes, so we'll add Sister Josephine to have our full 15 knock that we'll need to finish this. The powers that unseal and unseam have allowed us to deal with this obstacle. Knock has guaranteed a way. Keys, compartments, and other unconventional solutions. Read poetry. I'll stoke the fires of my imagination. Oh, so it grabbed Kit. What is she up to? Is she going to try and snipe that? Not if I have anything to say about it. Let's see, this needs Forge and then Edge or Moth. So we have Moth we can promote. We have Forge, we have Grail we could use. So we can promote one of our Grail people, and that will give us the ability to do that. And so we have 15 that will be enough to open up. An inspection is coming down the manifest line. Now's the time for a perfect forgery or a masterful string of spoken lies. Knock has guaranteed us our way out. Oh, so we've got a rising heat, so we get influences. I've glimpsed what I could for now. I could stay here longer, but it might be unwise. I might not want to leave this place otherwise. So let's go ahead and we'll go research. We'll go out to the Forbidden Reach. And I just need to add a follower, so I'll need Forge. So we'll send Roya. And he sends out funds as well. We can also use Edgar. We may produce funds when he's done. So that will give us some time to upgrade somebody to upgrade our Grail people. Glimpses. That's 2 Glimmerings, lessons learned. Rival is at their business in the shadows. My minion is returned. The evidence has been destroyed. I am a little safer. So we'll need Moth. So yes, we can send our voiceless dead to join these now that the evidence has been safely destroyed. And he can provide his Moth for defeating the Watchers. And while he's doing that, we'll promote one of our Moth people. We'll promote Charlotte. She seems more interesting. So we'll send our voiceless dead out there, and Conrad is producing profit. An enterprise concluded. The night is spent, and we make our way like shadows at dawn. Our work is complete. Completed smuggling. We have moved something from where it was to where it is now. Beak will want to hear a report of our success. And it created some notoriety, but luckily we have enough time to deal with that, I think. The business is at... Okay, so we're going to need... We have Season of Illness coming. We got some funds. So as soon as we've finished promoting our person here, we can talk to Beak and get paid for that. We can also write our treatise for Dr. Eben. We call upon the Madrigad, an hour of forge as well as winter. We'll make our own path through. Success is almost certain. So let's write... Oh, we've already written that. Never mind. Okay, so we'll do our forge commission here. We have the shaping chant we can use for that, and we need 2 reason. Glimpses. And now our 4th collection of poetry. And then this will let us upgrade to Never Know. My rival has been up to some mischief. The Suppression Bureau may take note. Charlotte rarely keeps her appointments or her promises now. There is little about her that keeps at all. So we'll send her to join the expedition. And that will give us 11 moth for facing down the Watchers, so we should be able to trick them easily enough. And we're creating some unlikely inspiration. We have an affliction, so we can just cure that with some money. The medicine is dark and bitter as tar. It would be easy to suspect I am being poisoned. And we'll go ahead and get paid for our commissions that we've written. My patron has let tantalizing information slip. So we have a bronze spintria that we will not have to spend as trappings now. We'll talk to Beak. You settled it then, Beak says before I can speak. I heard already. She sounds almost impressed with the outcome. Beak nods and one of her men hands me a packet of banknotes, tightly bound. Good work. Now leave. So we got 5 funds from that. That's quite a bit, and no notoriety or mystique for that. But we do have some notoriety on the board, so let's talk to Atticus and see if he can get rid of that notoriety for us by using his spokesmanship. We're mud-spattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. I finished the manuscript. Just in time for us to get back to work. And there's all 4 of our lessons. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our choice of which floors we're going to put in. So we've put knock in. Exercise the imagination of folly. I think that's the one we want. Let me double check my notes here. Let's see here. So for imagination, we can have a never know, which is heart or moth, or an open soul with grail or knock. So I think we want an open soul. Not that it really matters. We have ways to do anything. But this'll do. The apple tree never asks the beech how he shall grow, nor the lion the horse how he shall take his prey. Okay, so we have a season of acquaintances coming up, so that will help us out with our dread. We have, and that will cure our fascination once it's done processing. Look against the watchers, a powerful deception. Look closer. Closer still, closer. Keep looking closer. Now close your eyes. And we generated some vitality from curing our malady. There goes our contentment into the despair. So let's see. We do have some pretty substantial lores now, so let's see if we can advance past the stag door. If we use knock, not enough. The silken sands. In dreams, the silken sands are the place that whispers. Gray grains shift, gray weeds quiver. I know the words that open the wind. So that's not enough. So let's try lantern. Approaching the spider's door. In dreams, the silken sands are the place that whispers. Gray grains shift, gray weeds quiver. I've read of the angular tracks one must follow, of the sands arched, unseen, slow-stepping residents. So this will get us to our next doorway. And he grabbed a mystique. So we have Season of Ambitions coming next. There's our vitality. And now my soul lies ready. An open soul. Behold, they stand at the door and at my door and knock. If I hear any voice, I will open the door, and if they will come in to plea to me, and sup with them, and they with me. Passion and skill can increase no further. But I have 5 passion now, and the highest level of open soul. Getting this to the 4th level is pretty much very difficult, because you really have to double down on getting your vitality stuff. Although you could do it by double working it. The Watcher's confusion. Their bewilderment is our opportunity. We'll pass in silent secrecy. So let's see. What do we have here? We also have the Martensite paste and the Reflekin, so we can make the lantern painting. So we'll do that, because we have the time for it now. And we'll use our Lantern Disciple. And then we'll use the Reflekin. Atticus has a knack for brokering friendships while out proselytizing. After he helps mend our reputation, he introduces me to a particularly discreet friend he made. A bomb maker. So he gets us a free hireling. How handy. See, we have that other notoriety to deal with, so let's see what we can do about that. Let's have Atticus do his thing again. Oh, what is this? Bizarre tragedies and uncanny crimes are discussed at the newsstands in hushed tones. Fewer people walk the streets at night. They do not know who we are, but they know what we have done. We have infamy again. Lovely. Oh, so it grabbed mine. So luckily I have enough money for that, so that's not going to be a problem. So we need to add our ref again now. Oh. My movements in the Mansus have sent a ripple out into the bounds and perhaps beyond. A clairvoyant hunter may be able to trace that ripple back to me. The sands drain away like water, and beneath is the stone from which gods arose so long ago. Ahead is the door, glistening like rain, its black surface beaded with blood, each drop heavy curved with like a swollen tick. The Spider's Door. In my dreams I found my way to the Spider's Door, sometimes called the Bloody Gate, or more informally, the Wrong Door. The watchers here were guarding crates sealed with thief-signed ribbons. This was not a lawful operation. The owners of the cargo may not be pleased with our meddling. The War of the Roads, 1451 to 1551. Willis Ford describes the War of the Roads, an event in a history other than our own, in detail, from its beginnings as a martial philosophical debate between the dawn and sunset roads of alchemy to a war which ravaged half of Europe. Rose pearl dust for making the heart painting. Notoriety, and some funds. So, we are done with everything in the capital, so we can head out into the shires. Odd nooks remain in the quiet countryside, here and there, for those who know where to look. And we have one occult scrap left, so we could do that one again. We've generated more notoriety, but luckily we have Atticus on our side who can deal with that. And even if she suspects, she can only grab one notoriety at a time. This will show to best advantage in utter darkness, like us all. I've made something unique, something extraordinary, something I will never dare to exhibit publicly. This cannot possibly ever see daylight. It will earn no funds. Contentment, glimmerings, an intensity of radiance. Notoriety, and the door in the eye. He came from the glory we cannot help but see. The flames yearn for me as I for them. Their touch is more than pain. I have another mark. So we have some more bitter black salts. We have an intensity of radiance, which will decay to something to fascination. Rational observations again. We have two eccentric notions and a rational observation, but they're decaying. Alright, my followers plying their rhetoric to the masses. So that first notoriety will vanish. Hopefully she'll grab the mystique. If this does decay to fascination, we can maybe try and drive her insane. Actually, I know what we can do here. No one understands us, or perhaps they understand too well. We found Keglin's Scratch. This place merits closer investigation. So let's talk with Charlotte about Keglin's Scratch. Create a snare to delay or defeat arrival. So we'll wait for this to decay. An overlooked place. I might have found somewhere unusual. We found streets strange by moonlight, so that'll help us out. Let's investigate this peculiar rumor and see what we can find. So let's see, what else do we have? We have the Byzantine taint. We could make the knock painting. We have martensite paste. We could make the edge painting. We have rose pearl dust. We could make the heart painting. Now she's going to grab one of those infamies. Or one of those notorieties, most likely, unless she grabs an Mystique. She grabbed a Mystique. Good, she grabbed the lowest count one. An adequate snare. Rivals are cautious. They don't prowl the streets like hunters. An unpromising address, but a promising resident. Ludwig, I know where a certain chemist goes to maintain and enjoy his privacy. And we've created 2 more Mystiques, so that'll help us out, because she has 2 more Mystiques to grab before she grabs the notorieties. So let's go searching streets strange by moonlight. Streets are strange in the hour called Meniscate. So we have a snare. Our voiceless dead is decaying, so we'll talk with them just to hold them for a few more minutes. Or another minute, rather. So say if we offer it our passion, it would give us an Exodust's parable, but it will convert passion to decrepitude. So that would make it into health, but I think we want to have our passion instead. We found a subtle fracture. Okay, so that will help us out. That gets us some knock power. Let's go exploring again. And as soon as this is done, we can maybe try and summon something. Maybe something that can help us out some more. Alright, so we'll want the right of the map's edge in a suitable place. So the sunset right we can just do wherever. But the map's edge we have to do in a suitable place. So if we do it here, charge to include additional incantations. So we can add 2 lores. So let's add our subtle fracture, which gets us our knock. We add invocation, so we can add forge and lantern. Not quite enough. I need great power of forge, significant power of knock, and some lantern. Okay, we add winter here. We need a significant power forge, so we need to upgrade our forge lore, so we need another book for that. If we do Grail here... Not enough. Okay, so let's put the forge back. Let's try lantern. We do edge, we can make a hint, forge, and if we do oh, we can call out the Baldemarian. We can get Teresa to come out and join us. I think we'll do that. We'll get Teresa's attention. A mighty force of lantern to draw the Baldemarian's attention, and a teasing taste of secrets to bring her closer. And we can learn a new language from her, if I remember correctly. And while we're talking to them, we can slot that in there just to keep it from decaying anymore. So we got some contentment. So let's see, what do we have? Keglin's Scratch needs forge, lantern, and then edge or winter. Well, we have plenty of winter, so let's send our people out to do that one. So we can do forge and just one fund. Guess we'll get an extra fund because we need books. We prepare for the descent. We bring rope, tools, light. We arm ourselves against anything down there that may yet move. Here the Romans dug for silver until they reached the unsanctioned place where the names hid things not fit for sunlight. Many others have come since then, even as the tunnels crumble. Some have never left. So then once that's done, we can send in our Voiceless Dead, which gives us winter power. And one of our disciples. Oh, they're questioning one of my people. A follower interrogated. Under pretense of some minor crime or other offense, this hunter will temporarily detain one of my associates for questioning. They will try to give up nothing, but their time in custody may be long, and the hunter may be clever or cruel in how they ask questions. Yep, and there goes our summon. Got distracted. But we have enough. We have a winter person we can send, and we have an edge person we can send. So let's actually promote our edge person while we're thinking about it. The Baldemarian has the hunched shoulders of a scholar, the clear voice of a schoolteacher, and the freckles of a traveler on the continent. She lacks a shadow. Teresa. Oh, the world is flat. Oh, but it's flat. I won't stay long. I shan't stay long. Tell me a secret. So she has Aspect Tutor. She can tutor us on Fusine. Well, we already know Fusine, don't we? Yes, we do. Okay, so she has Lantern and Secret Histories. In Fusine? Yes, I get by in Fusine. I can teach you if you have Latin as a grounding, but if I hear one crack about the tongue of witches, it's off. So we'll just go ahead and send her on the expedition, just to keep her timer from decaying for now. My follower returns at last from the bowels of the central office. They are weary and paler in the face, but of more consequence, they've revealed nothing of our work to the authorities. Good, good. The influences are completely gone, but a sense of purpose draws me to somewhere specific. A sense of rightness. We found... Oh, we got a free Forsaken Reach. For using knock influence, we got a free Forsaken Reach. How nice. We call upon the Watchman who navigates. The Watchman will clear our sight so that we can almost certainly pass without error. So we'll send Beatrice for the next round. And we have Season of Sickness coming up. And we have a Dread that will counter that fascination, so that's good. So we'll just study our health to get some vitality. We promoted Yelena to Disciple. Yelena's grief refined to hatred long ago, but now it bubbles to the surface. It seethes behind her eyes, beneath her nails, between her teeth. Now, if I remember reading something correctly, there was something about if we talk to these people, talk to our people with some secret histories lore, we might be able to do something. Conrad and I meet in the evening. He bows slightly when we meet, doffing his rather conspicuous hat. Here we are, the magician smiles. To what do I owe the pleasure? So if we use a specific level of Secret Histories lore. Secret Histories 8. For him. A personal matter. They've denied my request for the 3rd time, Conrad sighs, tearing up the letter he'd received in the mail. That blasted seminary. What good's a library if it doesn't lend anyone its books? Well, I'll tell you what. I need a book, and I'm getting it, one way or another. We're mud-spattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. Our notoriety is vanishing, so that will help us out. She has no clues to convert, so we're safe there. She can only make 1 level of evidence. So we're done working at Glover and Glover for now, so we will make... We'll go ahead and make the heart painting. Using Millie as our inspiration. The expedition continues, so we'll send Ephraim, so that gives us plenty of winter power to deal with the fretful dead that are coming up. Okay, now we add the rose pearl dust. We'll grab the rest of it out to here, because we'll want to sell the rest of it because we have no further use of it, as well as our piebald pigment. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. So that will take care of our infirmary that's coming up here. It'll be a challenging little heist, but we've taken on worse. I simply must get my hands on that book, Conrad resolves. I owe it to someone who's been kept waiting for far, far too long. Yeshiva Tigris. For 50 years, this secreted yeshiva has taught the 4 traditions of the Bay Eli, the imprisonment of spirits, the expulsion of monsters, the conclusion of tenacious curses, and the sealing of troublesome portals. It is one of 9 great storehouses of secret wisdom in the world, and Conrad is keen to borrow a volume from its stores. A follower's business. This is something of particular interest to one of my followers. They may wish to act on this or speak about it. And that's one of the 9 libraries. Interesting. And that did not consume my lore, so that's good. So let's talk to Dr. Adine. We call upon the ivory dove, who knows the names of all the dead. The dead circle the edge of our vision like frayed dreams. The very air around us is chill with winter's shadow. They must recognize that. And we might as well read this and get some edgelore, the War of the Roads. It is not now widely believed that the sons and daughters of the Red Rose were forged into immortals. Understandably, they are, after all, now all long dead. The forge itself devoured the greatest among them. All that I am is here. So she's made some evidence, but we can deal with that. The sweet dawn of the sea rebirths Hugh. I've made something unique, something extraordinary, something I will never dare to exhibit publicly. This cannot possibly ever see daylight. It will earn no funds. So we got some pulsing airs and the sister and witch. She has been a pair of funeral birds, but here she is as she would wish to drown. So just because I'm curious, let's see what kind of things we could do with the pulsing airs. So knock. So we'll use we'll use Elizabeth for that. And edge to contact something irrepressible, which would make a percussagant. Or if we used winter, we could summon up a voiceless dead. But we'll hold on to that for now. The dead draw back, their almost faces flat and watchful. They will not trouble us. The follower gives me a fleeting reminiscence. My visions abate. So let's see, we need to see if we can get rid of that notoriety. While she's investigating, it will take her 90 seconds, so hopefully he can grab that notoriety while she grabs the other mystique. If not, oh well. The royalty of England, according to Willis Ford, became the sovereigns of the Leashed Flame, destroying or transforming their enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to St. Spark. The alliance with the Forge begins to take its toll. At last, the Bronze King undergoes his great misfortune and great debasement, and is afterwards known as the Copper King. His attempt to cheat the Forge ends badly. The Leashed Flame is released, and the King's heirs are merely mortal sovereigns. Smith's secret and a knife's secret. Alright, so that gives us the ability to upgrade our Forge lore. And unfortunately we're going to lose this pulsing airs, but oh well. We just need our library for this. And now trembling airs. In a lead-lined sarcophagus lies the skeleton of a woman. She wasn't buried here. It looks like she crawled in to die. Something has happened to the shape of the skull, pushing out the jaw like the muzzle of a beast. Scraps of rotting linen swathe her bones. Treasures lie amongst the remains of her clutching hands between her ribs. A spintria, Bied's blade, an 8-edge tool. A cut from this blade will not cease bleeding until the wound is healed. One account has it that Bied was a knife-collecting surgeon highwayman in 18th century Toulouse. Another claims Bied is only the bastardization of an Arabic word for mosquito. A cracked wildering mirror. A deep crack runs across the shimmering metal. A forge-aspected follower could repair it with sufficient resources, or I could use up what power remains in it. So let's see, if we put this Yeshiva Tigris in here... Or would we have to talk to Conrad about that? I'm not sure. But we're generating some... Conrad is generating some money for us. Alright, let's see if we can use that Trembling Airs, because we would like another Voiceless Dead here, I think. Yeah, so the Voiceless Dead only requires a little bit of heart. So we have an Ardent Horizon now. Oop. Not the one we wanted. So we can use those to improve this and get our... And now we can and we'll have an... then we can improve the level 6 and we'll have a level 8. People think a little better of us now. Small relief. So let's see, we can talk. Let's promote Lawrence. Lawrence is always heading someplace else. So Kit is up to something. She may try and grab this place, which unfortunately our snare has expired, so we wouldn't be able to stop her. But luckily there's only maybe a book there for her to take, mostly ingredients. She's attempting something bold. Is she gonna try and kill the hunter? So they're interrogating Hal. A rebellious spirit. Use passion to regain control. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to end up getting fired here because our timer's going to run out, but... We have money to hold us for a while. We have 45 funds. We don't need Glover and Glover just now. Difficulty at work. Oh, she's heading to a place that only Conrad cares about. My summoning will obey my wishes. For now. Okay, so as soon as she's done with that evidence, I can destroy it. Go ahead and start talking to the voices dead for her to finish that. An experienced swindler. How delightful to be working with you. What the heck, I could use some more moth power. So let's see, as soon as this is done, I will explore the Forgotten Cemetery to get some dread. Oh, she's going to get grabbed again here. Luckily, we haven't created any more notoriety just yet. My minion has returned. The evidence has been destroyed. I am a little safer. Okay, so now we have our two shapeless shaping chants. So let's upgrade those to level 8. So this will need practical experimentation and knowledge. Not that we're afraid of using our health. Whatever they sought here, they found it. My rival has ransacked this place. My rival has advanced their cause. Well, that's great. So we can send Teresa here, and we can send the Swindler. Let's see, we need to upgrade one of our Grail people. No notoriety on the board for her to grab. And we have a Caldate invocation now. The names of the forge have spoken all these words. Use this in a rite with a knock influence and a bone flute or other resources to summon a Caligine. So let's hope that didn't ruin that vault. That vault actually had nothing in it there except for what our help with there was after. We'll send the Voiceless Dead to help out. That's going to give us 11 moth. My rival has acquired more lore, more treasures, more connections, and in turn, they've become something more. So she's at 4 now, so we need to get rid of her. Or we need to exalt her. To hire her for ourselves. She is now a long in the making. The headlines herald our ruination. The columns laugh at our foiled schemes. With wit like hers, she could have been a poet or a rhetorician, but Kit won't settle for that. Not anymore. So Daisy has always prided herself on the savors and scents that grow under her care, but only now have all those things begun to curdle towards a red sweetness. Infamy is about to clear the board. We have these vitalities, we might as well do something with them. See if we can get up enough lessons learned to get to our next level. So before the infamy cleared, they were able to pop another infamy option. The blood, the entry, the scream of nascent life, a feast of stimuli to which Constance is always drawn. Her humanity quarrels with her hungers, her flesh turns inwards when denied, but she manages to smile at her patients all the same. Interesting, so she only gets 4 Grail instead of 5. I wonder if we can talk to her and figure out why. Constance greets me with a smile, salt and sweet scent wafting through her open door. Come in, she insists. I assume there's something we need to discuss. Let's discuss it over some tea. So she wants only level 4 secret lore, or a red absence. They were never really here. Perhaps that was a mercy. Perhaps that was a waste. Or an annoyance. So we only need level 4 secret lore. Constance holds up a copy of the morning paper, pointing to a notice concerning St. Anne's Clinic. Did you know? A colleague of mine recently opened up the place, she tells me excitedly. Determined old bird. And what's more, she's invited me to practice nursing there. Heavens, you have no idea how hard things have been since that nastiness at St. Bart's. Well then. I may just be able to get enough vitality to do this. So Especially if one of these pops an extra vitality. Bureau is ordering a canvassing of the capital in its totality. Troops of officers will go street by street, making their observations and speaking to those of consequence. This will destroy all secrecy currently on the table. Good thing we don't need secrecy anymore. So let's study our health to get another vitality. Look closer. Closer still. Closer. Keep looking. Closer. Now close your eyes. And since we're not fighting, we're just deceiving. Doesn't trigger our pacifist people. In the wake of scrutiny, uncanniness. I'll be having lunch with her in an hour, but perhaps you could come join us both at the clinic once that's done? I imagine she'll want to show me around. Nurse Matron Penrose, a polite, purposeful but polite woman with a thoughtfully wrinkled face. Constance knew her in the Great War, when they both served in tent hospitals and trench-side clinics. Followers' business. This is something of particular interest to one of my followers. They may wish to act on this or speak about it. So let's try talking to her again about that. She is not with St. Bart's anymore, but Constance remains a practiced nurse. There are those less fortunate in the capital who might pay for her services. Oh, so she can get us some money. Aha! This gets us 2 lessons learned, and that will give us 3, and then we just need 1 more, so we'll have plenty of time. We'll be able to get our health up to level 4. We've created a witness. Someone may step forward to testify. I shouldn't let that happen. Oh, and I'll have plenty of vitality here. So yes, I have more than enough. I'll be able to get my strength to the final level. And get 1 extra piece of health, just in case we need it. Delayed delivery. By their marks shall ye know them. Monster hunting initiative of the hour named the Colonel, who identifies herself as Little Sophia, provides advice on finding the weak spots of Long. Exorcism for girls. Simple but forceful techniques for rousting unbefitting spirits, written in straightforward and colorful language. Another Byzantine tinct. Some notoriety and some funds. So let's see, we have... We'll go exploring a furtive truth and see what we can find, because we still have enough time with Teresa and our voiceless dead and an experienced swindler to find a new place to explore. Aiding her patients. This will be hard, but I'm here. I'm here. Constance's cult business, when successful, will produce funds and a variable grail influence. There may be days when no customers may be found. There may be days when things go awfully wrong. Yeah, midwifery in the 1920s was not the safest of things to do. Well, it was safe for the midwife, but for the patients, you know, not maybe the best things half the time. Medicine has come a long way since then. So it gives us 3, and we have 4. We have 3 more vitality, so that's we have 4 more vitality now. So that's more than enough. So let's do some writing. We need to do a commission on the egg unhatching. So we need lantern and more lantern, and then 3 reason. There was no one to be found in need of a midwife, or perhaps Constance simply did her work free of charge. She is liable to do that sort of thing. I don't believe we have anything to say to each other. So we add Constance. The nurse matron, Mrs. Penrose, shakes my hand as Constance introduces us both. A pleasure. Any friend of Mrs. Abernathy's is a friend of mine, she intones warmly. It is still Abernathy, yes? Too smart to run off with that one-eyed Spaniard, I see. She shares a laugh with Constance, though Constance seems the more bashful of the two. He wouldn't understand, Penrose apologizes to me. She met him in the service, and that's where she also met me. Generating something with Grail. Probably a glimmering, but we'll see what it is. Lockwood Fen. The reeking murk of the Fenlands is ripe with furtive life. Taciturn locals still watch the sacred places of the small and secret gods, the ones that answer prayers. Well, we can go and investigate that, because we need lantern and moth, so yes. So this will be more than easy enough for us. Afterwards, Penrose invites us to tea in her office. I learn that the nurse matron's actual favorite beverage is gin and tonic, that she and Constance were twin angels for the wounded at Verdun, that after a bout of shrapnel shredded her insides, it was the nurse matron who saved Constance's life. I would love to have you here, Penrose tells her. It's a crime they put you out. The pleasantries seem to conclude with that incident, but after Penrose leaves, a voice calls out to us. Edith Tate. Psst, you're new, aren't you? Please, I need your help. No, come over here. No one else who works here should hear this. We got a glimmering. So let's see. Can our voiceless dead do anything for this witness? Send a devious minion to drive an annoyance insane. I want this irritation out of my way. This scheme will probably succeed, but if it fails, it will draw attention. Now she's going to try and scope that, isn't she? Or the Mystique. Please grab the Mystique. She did. She'll eventually grab the notoriety, but I'll be able to have dealt with this observer before then. Out into the mudlands. Somewhere we are certain is a shrine bedecked with precious oddments. If the locals try to kill us, we are probably heading in the right direction. Expeditions need at least 1 funds per obstacle. So we'll need to add more moth, which we can do now. Alright, so we just need... So we have more than enough time to finish upgrading our body. I finished the manuscript on the egg unhatching. A faded, pale white gold seen in certain patches of the sky when the mist is clearing but the sun might be mistaken for the moon. We hold our breath and watch it brighten until each color divides from the next like a new minted alphabet. Talk to your patron to get paid for this. So let's see, what other commissions? We have an edge commission. We have enough for that, so we need reason and health. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. We're mud-splattered and thorn-scratched, but we've made it through. Okay, so we use ours. So we have our lessons learned now. And we need lore. If I know the right lore, I can employ the invisible arts to reach an even higher summit. I must choose between strength and grace. So let me actually see what our choices are for that. So if we choose, we can do Heart, Grail, or Moth. Gets us a flawless physique. Using Forge or Edge gets us a matchless physique. So we'll do that. So Forge or Edge. So we'll do Edge. I will follow in the footsteps of the Lionsmith, who grows strong and stronger, and of the Colonel, who does not flinch from scars. Or we could use our Forge. I will burn with the strength of the Forge of Days, which, since we're going for a Forge Ascension anyway, we'll do that. My minion has returned. The annoyance is no longer capable of lucid speech, let alone capable of annoying me further. Some overwhelming experience has robbed this individual of their senses. They are a prisoner. I have this one in the palm of my hand, so I could use that. I wonder if I could use that for upgrading lore purposes. Decide a prisoner's fate. Freedom, death, or something else. Let's see. So now we can talk with Edith. And we have Constance to add. All is not well. The woman glances about before speaking. There is something foul afoot with this place, and with the nurse matron, something underneath the clinic. And I don't have anyone else to talk to this about. Not anymore. Please, hear me out. Ooh, something's going on. We have a new witness to dispose of. We have another manuscript finished. So that one is for Mademoiselle Bechet. That's for the Professor. This one is for Count Jennings. Our voiceless dead is decaying, and it will turn into dread, but we can deal with that. We have ways to deal with that. So let's see. We use that chilly atmosphere with Sunset Right. We can add Moth to call for silence. Forge. What do we see? Knock and more Edge than Winter to call for the power of division. Use Edge. Ritual of Wind Splintering, minor. We will call upon a power of a lesser name of the Wolf Divided to divide the gathered influence. This will not be predictable, and if we fail to provide a target for the name, it might target us instead. This might require you to provide influence after its start. You are calling on only a minor degree of edge, so the right will often fail. Interesting. I wonder what all that does, but we don't really have the time to work with that, so we'll have to play around with that later. But that's an interesting one. If we add Heart, we can summon a Throng of the Dead. We need Winter to at least the 4th intensity and a little Knock and Heart. That only 2. So a chilly atmosphere doesn't really do anything. Well, let's see if we add Knock there and add Forge that way. Significant power Forge is what? So a creature of the Forge. So we need to promote those. We need to exalt those guys. We add Heart instead. Yeah, nothing we can really do with that as it is. So let's see, what else do we have that we could do here? We could paint. We have ingredients for another masterpiece. We'll make the edge painting. Olivia was another nurse here. She and I have been seeing something on our shifts. A man with wings. It sounds mad, but I swear I saw him carry a patient downstairs one night. I told her not to. I told her not to go below before we knew more. A week now. That's how long it's been since Olivia went below. St. Anne's Clinic. A place where good is supposedly done, according to the clinic's usually satisfied patients. But a woman has gone missing in the building's bowels, and something sinister haunts the halls at night. What does the Saint's Clinic hide, truly? As soon as this expedition is complete, we'll go on an expedition there and see what we can learn. But for now, we need to create some snares in case one of our rivals decides to start coming knocking. Okay, so we're making edge, so we need the martensite paste. A sacred chrism of the sword, also an attractive silver green. My heart beats with the steadiness of a drum and the certainty of a judge's sentence. A matchless physique. I move like a mountain, strike like the sky. To master others is strength, to master yourself is power. Health and skill can increase no further. Dangerous. Direct confrontation is always unwise, but in the last resort, if it comes to a struggle, I am very dangerous. Clues to evidence. She's making some tentative evidence. And then we have a witness we need to dispose of. Dread got... Spring contends always with winter. So we have created the Colonel and Lionsmith. Since Issus have they striven so. And we have a rousing air. The passions are roused, a sixth order influence. Let's see what we can do with that. So let's go the Sunset Rite. And a rousing air. So, knock to attempt a summoning, lantern or moth to enact a battle in my own soul, winter to make something not entirely dead out of a corpse, and secret history to ignite someone else's passion. So let's add secret histories. The Great Secret of Betrayal. With at least 10 secret histories and 5 edge, I could use the mystic discipline called the Great Secret of Betrayal to turn someone onto the path of power, but usually not someone in particular. Sounds like it creates a rival if we do that. Let's not do that. So if we add Lantern, Reason's Glory, calling on a major degree of Lantern. So it transforms passion into reason. Don't really see a need to do that right now. So let's add Conrad and see what we can do to make for knock. So if we add Lantern, we get a Hinter. If we add Heart, we get something irrepressible. That would be a Thunderskin. And Winter to create a creature of intense cold. A Maid in the Mirror. Edge to match... Winter's cold to name and draw the Maid in the Mirror. Edge to match her keen cruelty. But if we add more edge... Nope. If we add Heart, we summon the Thunderskin. And if we add Lantern, we get a Hinter. So that gives us Lantern and Edge. Thunderskin gives us heart and edge. And that gives us winter and edge. Let's call the Maid in the Mirror. We haven't brought one of those out before. And we have 2 more books to read, so we'll go ahead and read By Their Marks Shall Ye Know Them. Little Sophia observes dryly, should one desire to slay an immortal, it is most practical to do so before they become immortal entirely. She details the marks, the changes that long undergo as they abandon their mortal condition. You pass through the Watchers. The Ring-Used Shrine. Here on a flat rock, inches above the marsh water, is a throne carved of yew wood, ripe with fungus, ornamented with tarnished copper. This is the shrine we seek. So we have a snare. So next we want to, as soon as our summoning is done, we can send our summon to deal with this witness. Apple green paint marks ritual circles on the rock. The remains of sacrifices past squelch beneath our feet as we search the shrine. In a little hollow in the throne rests an oiled bundle of treasures. We have an icon of St. Agnes. St. Agnes of Bohemia is renowned for her pious dedication to the mortification of the flesh. This icon makes for grisly viewing. A winged doll. In an attic above a skeleton house there was a window. Beside the window there was a box. In the box there was a bandage. In the bandage was a twist of clotted hair. In the hair was wound a doll, because the window had never been opened. The Flayed Tantra. This tantra is recorded as being spoken by an enigmatic individual identified as Peel, with many of the qualities of the mythological Naga. The Flayed Tantra portrayed a notable part in Alexander Sparrow's paranoid pamphleteering. Some vital pigment, and a little bit of notoriety. So, let's head off to St. Anne's Cathedral. So we're going to want to send Constance and some funds, because we don't know what we're going to have to deal with here. Edith cautions us against the secure doors that guard the basement level, and against the orderlies and nurses that stay overnight to supervise the patients. Constance resolves that we cannot use force against them. We will have to sneak or bribe a way past the night staff. We may, however, want to bring something for whatever might be lurking in the basement, Constance adds grimly. Well, we can bring in... Yep. So we need Constance and Edith for this, okay? And then we can send someone else later. So let's speak with Teresa. Just to hold that for now. The thing that was a woman has no expression of her own, and movements of her eyes and mouth always match mine, as if I were looking in a mirror. Her fingernails are sharp as glass. Maid in the Mirror. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. The dead who rest before a new cracked mirror, who pass through the peacock gate, who master the sharp stare, those dead enter the service of the sun in rags. As the lantern long begins to abandon its flesh, its skin becomes loose, its bones soften. The sixth mark is to be observed thus, when the flesh between the finger and thumb can be pulled to the final finger joint. So we got 3 pieces of lore out of that. Sexton's secret, a knife secret, and a locksmith secret. So we have another book to read. Simple but forceful techniques for rousting unbefitting spirits, written in a straightforward and colorful language. Blake seems uncertain at points whether the techniques are intended for use by or on girls. She clearly regards children as a nuisance. We'll slot the maid in the mirror here because we may need her help on the expedition. Probably will need help. But we'll figure out what we have to deal with it when we get there. We have some restlessness coming, so we'll be able to paint with that. So let's get painting. We can hide our notoriety in that. So let's see. We have hospital workers, the nurses and orderlies of the new St. Anne's Clinic. Constance doesn't want them harmed. We must either sneak past or appeal to their desires. An awarded door. An engineer or an adept has ensured this door will not open easily. Forge or knock will defeat it. Okay, so we're going to need... We'll add more Grail to see if we can slip past these guys. If not, we'll add Moth. Appeal to their passions definitely sounds like something we'd want to use. Grail for. So let's see if we're right. A competent parlay. Help us get to the lower levels and we'll make it worth your while. Let's send Teresa to help with that. Just delay her timer from ticking. And we want to add Maximilian to our ranks. Thurs's advice on the shapeless wood things known as raw profits is typically practical. 1. Discourage them with buckets of water as close as possible to freezing and with the smoke of dried lemongrass. 2. Under no circumstances kiss them or receive kisses from them. 3. An effective formula is provided for laundering clothes stained with prophet slime. So that granted us Dread and 2 level 1 lores. So now we need to translate the Flayed Tantra. So we need Sanskrit. And we've translated quite a lot here. Or, we have not translated anything from Sanskrit at all, so we'll be taking a while to translate this. My recent work is considered notable. I've exhibited the latest paintings publicly. Surely someone will buy something. So that gets us plenty of mystique that we can use. So we can hide our notoriety again and use a mystique. So we have glimmering we can use to make a mood piece. A successful bribe. We find ourselves a down on his luck porter, willing to take us below, or a small contribution to his personal finances. Down we go. Maximilian, a believer. Maximilian does not paint without a bottle at his side and a long pipe under his lip. So let's see. Do we have enough to exalt one of our people? We need the 21st intensity. The Forge of Days and Calidate Invocation is enough. Only a rare few, those most suited to service in our mysteries, may achieve this rank. So we can exalt a reshaper, a disciple to a reshaper. Which should have enough time to add him to this, because we'll need Forge or Knock for attempting to open the door. Okay, so as soon as the season of affliction is over, we'll be able to deal with that. Add some funds. Expedition continues. And now we'll read the Tantra that we just translated. Heel was numbered among the great hooded princes, but it breaks with its brethren and followed the Thunderskin in the endless dance. We're burying our notoriety and mystique. We didn't get a whole lot of money from that, but we did hide our notoriety fairly well. We have some ability in the matter of opening. We might be able to penetrate this warded door. It'll be a struggle. So that's our forge person should be done here. A reshaper. I shaped a mighty believer from the fires of the forge. I am the hammer and the anvil. I am the fire's touch and the iron's blessing. I pledge myself to the final conflagration. Roya, a reshaper. Muscles like worked bronze, youthful with heat. Underneath burns the savage impression of age and inhuman design. This is not Roya's old shape, but it serves its purposes. Loyalty to the Lionsmith. I am going to be a storm, a flame. I need to fight whole armies alone. I have 10 hearts. I have 100 arms. I feel too strong to war with mortals. Bring me giants! So we will send her to join the expedition. We call upon the Forge of Days, who will end all nights. We will almost certainly shatter this warded door. So let's see what we have here. Well, let's get rid of Mrs. Kit. Are we enemies? Perhaps we don't have to be. Yes, we are enemies, and I will send a maid in the mirror. Or maybe give... Seems we do have something to discuss. I'll use one of my level 1s, just to see what happens. All doors must open, as all lives must end. This door has found its end here today. Once Peel had peeled itself, it had the ink it needed to write the Tantra. It had to face the wrath of its fellows. Here is the invocation it used to fend them off. A Geminate invocation. That gives us 2 of those, so we can now upgrade those to level 10. Alright, so that should be enough mystique to hide the witness and the notoriety. He's attempting something bold. Is he going to try and kill Matsuoka? So I need a sanctuary. Here, the stony corridors are dimly lit with old filaments, derelict operating rooms, medical refuse storage. Constance shivers the whole way through, and then it is suddenly warm. Humid, too. Do you smell that? She whispers. She licks her lips. I know that smell. One door catches her attention, a heavy thing of peeling metal. From inside, a wet noise, like chewing. A hushed and elliptical conversation by lamplight, with glints of truth like gold in river mud. Who knows, perhaps one day we might speak less guardedly. But now let's send... Well, I don't really need her around anymore. But we'll send... this thing to try and see if it can do anything to her. I resolved an intuition challenge. So I have a prisoner I can use. Just get rid of this poor lunatic that is... Okay, I have no expeditions open. Lucky for me, so he cannot... Elridge cannot progress. We ready our lights and our armaments before swinging the door wide. Penrose is there in the chamber, standing over a table of crimson tinctures, shocked at our intrusion. But there's also Edith's winged man. In the corner, he gorges himself on the uniformed corpse of a nurse. Edith covers her mouth. Constance's eyes widen. I was going to ease you into things, Penrose sighs, but there's no chance of that anymore, is there? Nurse Matron Penrose, a purposeful but polite woman with a thoughtfully wrinkled face. Constance knew her in the Great War, when they both served at tent hospitals and trench-side clinics. And the Angel of St. Anne. Great leather wings, slickened skin, dreamless eyes. Its last meal is still wet on its fanged lips. A thin rubber tube pierces its wrist. Its blood collects in a bottle beside it. Well then. We'll have to wait till our talk verb is free here. Or let's see, maybe we can... Nope. So we have fascination. We also have dread that will be sucked up to Formulae vigilant. One who watches does not sleep. One who sleeps watches not. One who watches does not sleep. One who sleeps watches not. Use this in a rite with a Byzantine tinct and a meteoric bullet, or other resources of equal power to summon a percussicant. Set Teresa to searching here. Okay, so we need Penrose, Constance, and Edith. How long have you been feeding other people to it? Constance points an accusatory finger at Penrose, who steps in front of the creature. I don't do it for nothing, she snaps back. We have an understanding. One life, every so often, in exchange for the cure. Cataracts, osteoporosis, carcinomas, eradicated. And you, at the front, the cure saved you. We were lucky there. It could feed on Germans. Not so lucky here, but it can still do us good. Save more lives than we take. Interesting. So let's see how this resolves. Okay, so the Maid in the Mirror is expiring, but she has the right elements on her that all we need to do is supply a little bit of knock, and she summons a copy of herself. We sacrifice her, but she would have decayed anyway. So, a bomb maker. Don't really need that much help yet. A matter of medical ethics. Edith scowls between her tears. She murdered Olivia. Damn the bloody cure. She and it deserve to rot. Penrose warns us with a stern look. Do you have any idea how many lives this arrangement has saved? How many would-be stillborns are breathing because of what I have been able to do? Don't throw this away. Provide reason to side with Penrose or passion to side with Edith. If you do nothing, Edith may take action herself. As compelling a case as Penrose makes, we're going to... Well, let's see what our choices are. No compromise for evil. Edith has heard enough, as have we all. Grabbing a scalpel off the nearby table, she advances on the angel and thrusts forward into the creature's heart with the instrument. Except it does not find its mark. We'll use reason. Edith has much to say about our decision, about Constance's decision, and makes for the door. The angel with its swooping wings makes sure she never gets there. Penrose swallows, shaking her head. It didn't have to be that way. The nurse matron takes Constance aside. There will be a place for you here, always. Take your time. I know you understand the arithmetic of our vocation, to save as many lives as possible, she lectures her. Regrettably, that may sometimes necessitate doing harm. Such is the world. I think it's better off if we try and kill this thing. I would feel bad leaving this thing to continue to murder. Oh, he's going to try and kill somebody. Maybe Matsuoka, maybe? Or maybe Kit. The courage drains from Edith as she pulls the scalpel back. Penrose lets out a painful gasp as the scalpel leaves her. As the nurse matron collapses, the angel finally looks up from its meal. The next seconds are a fury of blood and screaming, but when we come to our senses, Edith and the angel are both gone. Constance cradles her dead mentor in her arms. It's loose. The angel over London. Without Penrose to soothe it, the angel has flown up into the tangle of the capital and vanished. But a Grail name, however disgraced, will not remain vanished for long. It will emerge to feed. We're going to have to fight it, aren't we? Good thing we have our maid in the mirror to deal with it. Its rival intends to end a hunter. That may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. Okay, so the chilly atmosphere will decay to dread, which will be put to use to quell our visions. We have plenty of mystique that should hide all that notoriety, unless she gets lucky and grabs notoriety first. I might have found some... So Teresa is resting. The Baldemarian has retreated to the Sage Knight's lodge to rest. Let's see what we can find on the streets strange by moonlight. Okay, she grabbed a mystique. So let's see. We have time now. Let's go ahead and exalt our other Forge Disciple. Sanguine airs slither across the streets tonight. A winged shadow glides from gable to gable. The angel is closing in on someone. Provide a minion with Forge, Edge, or Heart to drive the angel off before it can devour its prey. A defender who fails will die, alongside whomever the angel targets. Maid in the mirror, go! I have summoned you for this. Do your job. Okay, so we need some dread. We have chilly atmosphere that's about to decay to dread, and we'll explore the cemetery to get another to quell that. Okay, well, she's busy right now, and she managed to grab a notoriety even with all that mystique on the board. Just my luck. But the witness will disappear before she can grab it, so... We have fire and weaponry and tenacity enough to send the angel screaming, starving back into the night. Blood and wing, it takes flight. Wounded, but not yet slain. So there's another dread that we can use to finish off our visions. One of my fellows has taken on a special satisfaction to their station and moves quickly to gloat on their newfound status. Edgar, a reshaper. The strength of Edgar's grip could crush coal into diamond. His blood courses like fire. His heart pounds like an engine. Stand close to him and the faint whirring of clockwork becomes audible. Dedicate loyalty to the Lionsmith. So we've seen that already. And he's making Yelena resentful. Lovely. Aftermaths. What now? Yelena already had one resentment. We're going to have to deal with that later. So we need our maid in the mirror to continue to defend. Time to turn in all my commissions here and get paid for them. She gave me some Reflegan. And Glassfinger Toxin. What is without within? What is without within? Poison sacred to the votaries of the Meniscate. So 8 Lantern. And 2 lethal poison. Under no circumstances should you put this in anyone you want to keep. Well, that gives us a way to get rid of Kit. And a silver spin trio. Another silver spin trio. Send Charlotte to get rid of that evidence now that she's freed up, now that our talk verb is freed up. Let's wait and see if this angel is about to swoop down on anybody again. Yes, it is. So I could use Forge, but I have Edge, so I'll use this. I'll use the Maid in the Mirror again, might as well. I have I need to find some contentment. So let's go to the village theater and see a play. And we'll do some painting to get some money and some contentment. Because we can hide the dread there for now. We have fire and weaponry and tenacity enough to send the angels screaming, starving back into the night. Blood and wing, it takes flight, wounded but not yet slain. Watch a show of art. Restlessness. The show brought out emotions I once thought long lost, but soon the reality catches up with me. My minion is returned, the evidence has been destroyed, and I am a little safer. Let's see. Let's open up another vault here. So we got a fascination, so we have a dread that's about to appear here, so we'll hold off on doing anything with that. So we need our forge disciple, or our forge person. Work, yes. I can work. We need to repair our wildering mirror. Let's see, we have no books right now, so let's see what we can do. Yeah, we might as well do some more painting. And use this restlessness that we have. That way the contentment can get used to destroy this dread up here. And we'll use our fleeting reminiscence to destroy the... Gladwin Lake. Beneath the stark slopes of the fells, the mist-wreathed surface of the lake waits. Here was a twin altar before the Romans came, and a legend of a serpent who was sent to defile that altar. Okay, we just need knock for that, so that's easily enough done. Beneath the surface of the lake, or in some cliffside nook, perhaps some relics remain for us yet. Go on, Maid in the Mirror, get rid of this guy. Instead of that, we can go working as a city guide for a while. Get some money from that. Okay, we need a bronze spintria to repair the wildering mirror. Wounded but not yet slain. What does it take to kill this thing? Refunds. Okay. So let's see. We want another maid in the mirror, so we will use... We can use the Sunset Rite with the maid and a knock lore to just summon another copy. That way we have two of them around. The serpent's mouth is large enough to crouch in. Its tongue is the thickness of a man's shoulders, but almost certainly it will respect the power we bear. We call upon the Mother of Ants, which ariseth from wounds. Back, back! It's too much for us! Well, we'll have to try again. The angel is dead. Appetizing. Alucitic heart. Its rubied sheen never dries and yields tenderly to the press of a finger. I imagine it would taste very, very sweet. If you give this to a follower, it will heal all their scars and turn them resilient. Well, we know who we have to give that to. Constance weighs the heart in her hand, wearing gloves, of course. The maximum amount of good, she muses sadly. Penrose would always say that, but what she was willing to excuse. It's funny, almost. In a macabre way, it's not the monstrosity I minded, but the killing. Like butchering cattle, she treated it. But it's a different story when it's people. Well, if somebody got hurt, we can just send... Well, we have somebody getting hurt. So we'll send funds, and we'll send Sister Josephine. Elizabeth, their wounds are grievous. Heal fallen follower with talk. So as soon as Constance is done examining this heart, we can heal Elizabeth. So we'll send Sister Josephine to deal with it. If that can't do it, we will just send our maid in the mirror to kill it. You make the excuse once, and it becomes all too easy to make it again, Constance resolves. She puts the heart down onto a metal tray and removes her gloves. People can't be sacrifices, no matter the so-called benefit. Idealistic, maybe. But I'm young. I'm allowed to have that, aren't I? She is now loyal. This follower cannot rebel against you. So she can create a snare. Oh, she can also heal wounds. So can she heal Elizabeth? The old motions, cleaning, extracting, suturing, these are things Constance has not rehearsed in quite some time. Not since St. Bart's and not since the Great War, but time alone cannot make her forget her skills. She'll do her best for this wounded follower. And that'll save us some money, too. It lowers its great head. Moisture seeps from its lidless eyes. Is it weeping? What does it remember of its eldest sister, whose power we called upon? Alright, let's get a guiding. And we have a fleeting reminiscence we can use this time. Which should get us some more money. Then we can sell off all these pigments we've already used and get some more money from that. There are ruins beneath the water, just beneath at wading depth. The lake has risen a little in all these years, yet not enough to keep us out. So, exploring vaults gets us infamy. Interesting to know. They'll need a few days of rest and no exertions, Constance warns, wiping her hands. Not unless you want them back on my dining table for an operation. So she has a Grail Scar, seeping sutures. After a point, there's only so much difference between man and meat. 3 scars of any type will typically kill a mortal. So that's what use the Allokitic Heart would have. We could use that to heal somebody, but it's also an ingredient we can use in a rite. Alright, so we have some contentment, so when this chilly atmosphere decays into dread, we can counter that. My thoughts will wander, and I will follow. Old emotions will come to roost. The chapel crypt is flooded, and the water soupy with old corpse matter. But at last we bring up a wax-sealed coffer. 18th century? No, older than that. Let's see what's within. The Orchid Transfigurations, Volume 3, 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for the disturbing allure of its illustrations. This is in the original Latin. Those indignities perpetrated by the deceitful fraternity of obliviots. This book is famous for its near incoherent fury of its tone, as for the knowledge it contains, in Latin. Some more witch-kissed oil, and notoriety, of course. So, let's get started. We need our Latin. And we'll translate both of these, and they should only take a very short amount of time, since we've got plenty of practice translating Latin. So let's explore out here. Find sites to explore on the continent. Little wars, great intrigues, cryptic priesthoods, mystic crimes, all past now, but what traces did they leave? my ambition is being tested. And then someone else's ambition will be tested. It's not clear whether CROD, who is identified only by his initials, was in fact an initiate of the Obliviate Order of Immortal Adepts. He wrote in the 16th century, after the Order, if he is to be believed, had passed the height of its power. 58. They that did claim inheritance of the traditions of the House of Lethe, but they have disregarded both its most sacred and its most beautiful ceremonies where they are not found convenient. 59. Somebody was angry. All conviction, the world goes away. Refunds. Nice, nice. So let's see. Let's try talking to Kit, and we can try. As soon as this finishes, I think we're probably going to call it, because we've been streaming for about 3 hours now. So yeah, it's probably getting about time to call it a day for now. And we have our local con starting in a few hours, so I need to get ready for that. So I think the last thing we'll do is we will promote Maximilian here to a disciple. So he's impassioned and frail. I find an unexplained reference to Hebi in my research, and my attention is diverted. What is Hebi? A woman, a place, a name of an hour? Ah, so we're going to get the Hebi Stanton plus an area. So we have 2 areas we'll be able to explore. '71. The Glassfinger toxin is no mere assassin's convenience for the Obliv idiots to confine to the disposal of their enemies. It has higher uses. Certainly it is a great matter of winter, but I have already outlined the technique by which it may be fitted for its ultimate destiny. So we got Operation of the Declining Sun, and another copy of The Rite of Watchman's Sorrow, which we already had. And so we'll read Orchid Transfigurations. A long dialogue between the Mountain Mother and the Vigilant Storm describes the ways in which both mountains and storms end, and the protections they use against those ends. Hebi is a ship. In fact, many ships have borne that name over the centuries. All of them have provided transport and accommodation to those who know something of the invisible world, and none of them show up in shipping records. But I've learned that the steamer Hebi Stanton is docking soon in a grimy and unregarded port in a northern island. I could send someone to purloin unwatched occult luggage. Okay, so one of the things we're going to need for that, we are definitely going to need some help. So we'll use a fleeting reminiscence. Knock. And lantern. And we'll get Teresa back out here. Because we're going to need some lantern to find the damn thing in the first place. Oh, nope, so we'll find her some other use for her. So let's go ahead and start this before one of our rivals tries to sneak it from us. So we'll give 2 funds. And we need... Well, we can do Roya, because she'll provide us an extra funds. And then we're going to need Moth. So we'll send Lawrence. And he actually lets us not use an extra funds, because that way we have 2 extra funds coming with us. It is rare for passenger vessels to visit the grim island where the Heavy Stanton is docking, but we can charter a fishing boat and trust that the sea behaves. The real work of passing guards and doors will begin if we get on board. Maximilian, a disciple. Maximilian's hands tremble when he is separated from his muses for too long. Consumption has become synonymous with his artistry, and wherever he moves to create, he is too consumed, in a manner of speaking. He too is consumed, in a manner of speaking. Okay, I think at this point that's probably a good point to call a pause for a while. We've started on expedition. We've managed to finish Constance's personal quest and made her loyal to us. Just think, Yelena is starting to become is already distrustful of us. Let's see if we can start her. Yelena rises, her joints creaking like the innards of an old warship. What do you want? So let's see. She wants... Does she want any type of logo? Not at all. She has no special business, it looks like. And we could give her Bead's Blade to reduce her resentment and give her more edge. Not sure what we're going to do with that, but we can talk with her later. Let's see, if we give her cult business, she tries to abduct a stranger. So we'll do that. We might as well have a prisoner to hold for later, even along with our poor lunatic. But I think with that point, we're going to go ahead and call it a day at this point. So we've made quite a bit of progress today, but we'll see what we can get done next time. Next stream will probably be on either Monday evening or Tuesday afternoon sometime. And I will see you then. Thank you for joining me. Oops, wrong. Wrong text.